are gonna work on getting into the hips and getting the breath low and just feeling good today in a nice little yoga sequence of about medium intensity. So let's begin in Sukhasana with the shins roughly parallel, and feel free to use a blanket underneath of the hips if you need a little bit of support. And we'll bring the palms together and let the thumbs come towards the heart. And then we'll just take a nice deep breath into the body with a sigh on the exhale. So go ahead and release all of the air out. Take a nice deep breath in. All right, let's come onto our backs to get started. So come on down and bring the knees to a bent position. We're gonna reach for that right knee and draw it up towards the right shoulder. Take the hands on top of the shins. Let the face and the neck completely relax. Go ahead and just hug that right knee up towards the shoulder. And we're gonna send that left leg straight forward. If you're comfortable keeping it hovering off the mat, do that. If you're feeling that that's too strenuous, just go ahead and bring that foot to the floor. We're gonna really reach through that left leg and then draw that right knee towards the shoulder. Feel that tailbone reach forward towards the heels, and go ahead and lift the head and shoulders off of the ground and look towards that navel center. We're gonna widen the low belly as we draw it back. So now we've got that core nice and turned on. And take a deep exhale and just lift the head towards that knee. Exhale, send those arms forward. And then inhale. And then exhale, squeeze that forehead towards the knee. And then inhale. And then one more time, exhale, squeeze it in. And then inhale here. Go ahead and let the leg come down, head and shoulders come down. Keep this right leg still bent. Send your left arm out to the left. Right knee is gonna rest on top of the shin, and just gently guide that right knee open to the right. So don't go too fast or too far. I want you to focus here on pressing that left heel forward and away from the body. Feel that left thigh bone anchor towards the floor. And as you draw that right knee open, you can start to send the breath deep into the lower belly or into the lower back even. Try to feel all of the points of space in the stretch as you're drawing this right knee out to the right. And then slowly bring that knee back towards center, switch sides. So we're gonna switch hands and we're gonna send that right arm out to the right. Now this left hand is gonna draw the knee across. And you can slowly draw it all the way across so that you're rolling over onto your left side. And that knee can come maybe all the way across. We'll go into a nice spinal twist here. Let that back feel nice and long. Arms can extend. And if you're feeling okay, you might even turn your head all the way over to the right side. Focusing on keeping some space between the hips and the ribs. So hips drawing away from the armpits. And then go ahead and unwind here. We're gonna draw that left knee in to meet the right. Give both legs a nice hug here together, and then take them a little bit wider. And then draw those knees towards the armpits. Big breath right here. And then we'll send that left leg straight forward. We're gonna right leg. We're gonna hover that right leg off of the ground. Left knee is gonna draw towards the left shoulder. So hang out right here and find stability. Feel that back of the pelvis, that sacral area anchored to the floor. We're reaching, we're sending energy out through that right leg. Take a breath, make sure you're not straining. And then reach that tailbone towards the front heel and feel that pelvic floor start to lift up in it. And then we'll lift our head up. We're gonna look towards the low belly. We want that tummy to draw back and widen. So we're connecting that low belly with the pelvic floor. Left knee draws towards the left shoulder. And then take a nice exhale here and really lift that forehead towards the knees, send the arms forward. And then inhale, undo. And exhale, squeeze it in. And then inhale, undo it. Exhale, squeeze the forehead towards the knee. Inhale, and then one more time. Exhale, squeeze it in. And then inhale, this time come all the way down, and you can let that right leg come to the floor as well. So left knee is still bent, but now we're gonna flex that right foot and press that right heel forward. So we're getting a nice stretch through the inner thigh. Let that right thigh bone get super heavy towards the floor. So we're really anchored down through the right side. And then that right arm can go out to the right as you use your left hand to guide this knee open to the side. So lots of weight through that right side. Creating that structure so you can let that left side move into some creativity. Nice deep breaths here. Notice if tension has wandered into the face or the eyes, and try to keep that head completely soft. And then we're going to start to guide that left knee through center. We're going to switch hands and use your right hand to draw your knee across. So now we're going to go into a nice twist. So you might even draw that knee all the way over and roll onto your right side. See how you're feeling. See if you want to go all the way. You don't have to go all the way. But if you do, you're going to keep that left knee bent. Left arm's going to splay out to the side. So you've got that nice twist. You can even turn the head all the way over that left shoulder. And start to feel now the breath moving deep into the back body. All right, let's roll back to center here. And then give those knees a little squeeze one more time. Lengthen out that lower back. Rock and roll a little side to side. Let's bring those feet flat on the floor. We're gonna find a roughly 90-degree bend in the knees, and then we're gonna flex the feet as well. So bring the arms alongside of you. Keep the feet about hip distance. Okay, so they're not too close together. We've got a little bit of space between the feet. They're just at a natural position. And we're gonna press those heels into the sticky mat and feel them dragging towards the body. So they're stuck, they're not gonna go anywhere. We're just gonna create that isometric action to turn on those hamstrings. So those legs are nice and active, and then right here, tuck the shoulders underneath of your back without creating excessive tension. And then we'll just slowly start to lift the pelvis off of the ground. Feel that the pelvis is lengthening away from the head as it's lifting. Keep firming those heels in. Breathe right here. You might start to feel those lower glutes turn on. That's good. We want them to work. I just don't want you to clench there. And then let's come on down. And it doesn't matter how high the hips go there. All right, so go ahead and give your knees a little hug. And then we're gonna rock our way all the way up and across over to a hands and knees position, where we'll take the hips back and extend the tips of the fingers forward for a puppy dog. So this is in between downward dog and child's pose. We've got the pelvis reaching back. There's a lift through the palms, a lift through the armpits, and the neck feels free and clear. So there's no pinching through the back of the neck or tightness there. We're just growing that spine forward as the hips are reaching back. Now let that tummy Find a little bit of tone, a little bit of lift through the front of the ribs so you can really focus on expanding the breath into the back body. And then we'll shift forward so we're in more of a traditional hands and knees type pose. And let's just make some circles here with the hips. So we're going to stretch all the way around the full circumference of the hips. And then we'll go the other direction. And then we're going to end up in kind of a modified plank pose. So I'm going to have you bring the knees behind the hips. The belly, heart, and head are in this nice diagonal line. Wrists are underneath of the shoulders. And then let those shoulder blades stay nice and connected to the back. Exhale, point the elbows straight back as you lower towards the floor. Try to keep belly, heart, and head in one plane as you do that. And then the toenails are going to come onto the floor. Hands come back towards the lower ribs. And without lifting too much, focus on reaching the hips back, tailbone back, and then a little lift through that low belly. So a little bit of toning through that low belly as you lift the chest, neck, and head, lengthening the upper body forward. And then we'll exhale, come on down. Bring the hands underneath of the shoulders, a little closer towards next to the breast. And then we're going to tuck the toes underneath. And right here, we're going to lift up into the top of a push-up. So toes are tucked. Go ahead and lift that tummy up and in. Reach that tailbone back. And then you can keep the knees down, or if you're feeling strong today, just go ahead and lift straight up into the top of a push-up. And we'll come right down here to hands and knees. Right foot is going to come forward into a 90-degree bend. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my blocks just to give my upper body a little more space. So we're in this nice hip stretch here with the back leg as far back as it'll go. And the knee at a 90-degree bend. I'm going to lift that upper body. Let that neck feel nice and long. Every once in a while, feel that right outer hip crease wrapping back and around. We want to feel that stability and that symmetry between the two sides of the pelvis, even though we're in this nice deep stretch. And then let's move a little more into the core work with this pose. So I'm going to have you inch that knee, the knees to a 90-degree bend, and we're going to come to stand up over this back leg. So you might take one or both hands on top of the right knee. Here we can feel this back knee rooting into the ground. The front of the hips are going to draw up towards the ribs, and we're standing nice and tall. So it's okay to feel wobbly, embrace it. It's all part of the practice. See if you can kind of hug in and find your center, your physical center, but also your energetic center, and let that support you. So the more you hug in and breathe in and feel into your center, the more that center can support you. And if you feel good with it, you could take one or both arms and send them straight up to the sky. And then exhale, come forward. So now we're leaning a little more into the hip stretch. We're going to take that left hand and plant it on the floor. Right side is going to twist to the right. Now keep the hips even here as much as you can. We want the hips to stay flat across the back. We're going to continue to grow that spine. Feel a nice deep exhale as you turn your gaze up over that right shoulder. And then we'll unwind, plant both hands on the floor, front knee steps back. Let's go ahead and take it into plank pose. We'll add a nice little vinyasa here. Exhale, lower down. You can come all the way to the floor or come to elbow height. Inhale, the heart shifts forward. The back bends, nice length through the neck. And then we'll move it right over into child's pose. So just letting that back soften, lips and teeth soften, and yet feeling that warmth that you've been cultivating inside of the body. And we're going to come on back up to hands and knees. Let's go forward left leg. All right, so we're going to start out with our hip stretch, walking that back knee back. We still have this front knee at 90 degrees. Left outer hip crease is going to draw back. We're going to lift the chest, grow the spine. Deep breaths. All right, we're going to inch our way into that same position, but with a little more focus on core stability. So we've got two 90-degree bends, the hips even out. We've got the hips and the shoulders aligned, and see about just lifting a little bit through the front of the right hip. Top of the glutes on the back body draw down as the front lifts. And then we can really lock in. You can feel that pelvic floor lift, that little tone through the lower belly to support you. Feel free to have one or both hands on that left knee. See if you can let the breath flow with ease. Even in all of this intensity, how can we soften the throat, soften the tongue to let that breath really deepen into the body? And maybe one or both arms can go up to the sky. It's totally optional. Just see how you're feeling. Finding that stability through center, but also focusing on growing out of that stable place. And then let's go forward for our twist. Right hand is going to plant on the floor. We're going to keep the hips even and then feel that left shoulder just peel its way open. And the head turns up over that left shoulder, continuing the twist all the way through the neck. Breathing deeply into the back body. Every once in a while, just hugging those inner thighs together to find center. And then from here, go ahead and plant those hands on the ground, send that front foot back. A little more with the core. We're going to bring those wrists underneath of the shoulders, lift the knees, and find top of a push-up plank pose with extended arms. So lots of energy running through the body. You can press those heels back, hug the toes forward. Feel that tailbone reach back. Tummy lifts up and in, and it's like you're actively pressing the floor away. See if you can roll onto the right hand, right side of the foot for a variation on side plank. Left arm goes up to the sky. Now it's totally okay here to use either the lower leg or the upper leg for a little extra support. So see wherever you are, and then we'll come back to center. Let's add a little push-up here for a little more fun. So we'll lower on the exhale, inhale, come right back up, and then we're gonna roll onto that left side. So feel those shoulders stack. You're gonna feel that whole left underside body supporting you here. Breathe into that midline, breathe into your center. And we'll roll it back here. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor. Inhale, take a nice stretch through the front body. Let's come all the way up for high cobra. And exhale, we'll draw those hips back into child's pose. And then we'll meet right here on hands and knees. A little bit more for opening up the back before we get on our way. Let's take that tailbone down towards the floor. Round the spine, let the crown of the head sink towards the floor, and really deeply exhale here. Feel a lot of stretch through that back body. Inhale, tailbone lifts, heart draws forward, and the head lifts. And then exhale. Feel like that movement is originating at the tailbone. And just moving up the spine. Inhale, we're gonna lift. And then I want you to let this feel really organic. So let's add a little bit of wiggling side to side. We're gonna even exaggerate it a little bit. So on the exhale, it's gonna be a little more like almost like a little child's pose or a puppy dog pose. And then on the inhale, it's gonna feel a little closer to like an upward dog or a cobra type pose. And then we exhale. And a little side to side. Be with your breath, be with your body. Let it feel really natural, really organic to you. And then we'll end in child's pose for today. Feel free to let the palms stack one on top of the other, and the forehead can rest there. Stay here as long as you like, or take any other relaxation pose that you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed our practice today. I'm Emily Rae with Emily Rae Yoga. I'll see you next time.